time. Another story that's making headlines, NFL, back in the news.
We're going to talk about it. The league and the Players Association have now agreed to, after all of this, suspend the rule that would require players to stand for the national anthem. One NFL team comes out and says it will punish its players if they kneel during the national anthem, and that's the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, conservative ownership in the Dolphins.
This comes after a report that the Miami Dolphins would fine or suspend players for up to 4 games if they violated that policy. The AP obtained a copy, Associated Press, of course, of the Dolphins' new 9-page discipline document, and it has a proper anthem conduct section. Now, it says that any anthem protest is conduct detrimental to the team, and that's a quote unquote, and the players could be punished with fines, suspensions, or even both.
And that's where I want to bring in Burgess Owens. He's a Super Bowl champ and author. He's also the CEO of Responsive Healthcare Solutions, and we appreciate your time on this Friday. Good to have you. What's your reaction to the NFL kind of reversing its course here?
Well, I tell you, first of all, I'm fortunate. I grew up I played during the old Al Davis days, Pete Rozelle, when we just knew, we looked at the flag, we were so appreciative of the opportunity. We were proud of our flag, our country, and I'm actually the Dolphins. I was thinking when I saw this last night, it's finally time we see someone who's getting it right. This has been going on for too long. I think what we're seeing is a group of white elitists that don't have the courage to stand for what's giving them the right to be billionaires around and have a brand that now can go around the world. So I'm glad to see, first of all, that they're putting some parameters. What these young men need, very simply, guys, 70% of these young boys do not have dads in their home household. They're not taught to respect, to understand authority, to know their parameters being set. They need to know that there's accountability to their actions, and they will be fined or suspended. And guess what? On at least for the Dolphins, if they keep it up, you will not see any protest.
Burgess,
because
what do
they
you
know
think?
the consequence.
Burgess, what do you think is the cause, though? I want to get to how this can be fixed. No dads in the home, no respect. What can we do as citizens watching this thing to change that scenario?
That's a great question. First of all, we need to know what the problem is. Behind the curtain, behind this is we have an issue. We have a country that's built on great Judeo-Christian values. Our enemy is Marxism, socialism, and atheism. That's been going on for the last 30, 40, 50 years in our black communities. These elitists, these socialists and Marxists have been propagating this message of anti-American, anti-white, anti-police, anti-respect, anti-family, and you see their misery. So you have a party, a Democratic Party, leftists, who literally strive, and their political strategy is based on misery. What can we do as Americans? First of all, understand that's our enemy. It's not whites and blacks. It's the ideology. Be proud of who we are. For white Americans, learn our history. Stop apologizing. For black Americans, learn your history. Stop apologizing and expecting to be called victims. My dad's generation, the worst thing that could have happened to them is for them to be looked at as victims. They would have thought that is the greatest insult. And here we are looking around, walking around. Anybody looks at us cross-eyed, and we're asking for somebody to apologize or pay us some kind of reparation. So understand our history, number one, and realize that this is a decision made at the very top of the NFL. These are socialists. These are globalists. They can care less about our American way, about our American, the pride of our American flag. They're looking at a global reach, and they don't mind demeaning our flag and our country and their brand to get there. So we haven't seen the end of this. And,
Burgess, let me ask you another question, because you played in the NFL. You were a member of the NFL Players Association. Now you're a healthcare CEO. Tennessee Titans defensive tackle Jarrell Casey says he's going to continue to protest the anthem. What am I missing here? You are a healthcare CEO. You played in the league. I work here at Newsmax. If Newsmax set a rule that I had to walk in the door every day in a sport coat, I would walk in the door every day in a sport coat, or know that I'd lose my job. These are private organizations, these teams. These are private business enterprises.
Good point.
In a minute, why do the players even have the ability to protest the national anthem if team ownership says, we're a private company, you can't do this? 1 minute.
Because the team owners are cowards. I'll say this, in the NFL, right there in New York City, NFL, they will not allow their NFL employees to do what these players are doing. These players are sacrificing their lives, their livelihood, and their careers for the sake of these guys who are trying to demean the brand, demean our flag, so they can expand their global reach. So, no, at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to, when they leave the game, they're not going to be able to do what they're now talking about doing right now. They have parameters set up in their job. They'll have to do that job, or they'll get fired. And you have Kaepernick, you have Reed. These guys now have sacrificed their careers over the last couple of years. They're learning that lesson. You cannot demand and demonstrate for a job. You earn it. If people don't like you in a private situation, they're going to fire you. And you have to find a job someplace else. And unfortunately, there's too many of these young men who will be destroying their brand and their careers for the sake of this socialist, Marxist agenda that these guys have.
Burgess Owens, thanks very much for being here with us today. Great information. We appreciate it.
You betcha. Take care, guys. Keep it going.
Newsmax TV. Watch us on Dish, DirecTV, AT&T Uverse, Verizon Fios, or download our free app. Don't have Newsmax TV? Call your local cable provider and request Newsmax today.